Hello, this is Kenny from the Warren Flints. Thank you for listening to The Recess with Spinelli.
You are tuned in to Recess with Spinelli here on WSPN, Hoxton FM, the International Radio Festival, and the New York State Music Blog. And today we are here with the psychedelic blues trio from Columbus, Ohio, the Warren Flints. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us, Alex.
Now, you are supporting Catfish and the Bottlemen. I believe this is the first night of your tour, and also, I think, the fourth time that you are supporting them. Any lessons from the road thus far with Catfish?
We learned every lesson in the book. Every lesson that there is to learn, you learn it, and we're always learning. I don't know, this was our first time really touring. It was with Catfish. I mean, we did some dates with Alabama Shakes, but they were kind of a little small. It was like a week spread, and we had a lot of help, and you know what I mean? This is kind of the first time we got to experience the tour and learned how to budget money. Money's the big one. You learn how to save money and how to not spend as much of your money. That's the big one.
You learn how to...
Car maintenance, trailer maintenance, fuck. Yeah.
You get used to those 8 or 9 hour drives. And
you get callous
late
to
at
every
night,
long drive, man.
You show up to a new city. You unpack your stuff. You sound check. You play, and then you leave. And then
You're like, so how was the city? I'm like, I know. I saw a very small corner of it for about 2-3 hours, and that was it, man. Like, yeah, you don't get
it looked fine.
Yeah. We get some days off. We get some days off in like New York here every now and again. We have some fun, but usually very fast paced. You learn how to just kind of stay with the hustle and. Your body gets conditioned to it. The adrenaline, and a lot of adrenaline. I get through adrenaline withdrawals when I get home.
Yeah, seriously. When we came back from our longest one, we were so used to getting amped up at like 7 o'clock and then playing at 8 o'clock and not winding down until 10 o'clock at the earliest probably is when we would start winding down. And then you come home and you live in your normal life. At like 7 or 8 o'clock, your body starts getting back into that adrenaline rush mode, getting ready to play, that fight or flight kind of feeling that your body has.
I should be freaking out right now. Where's my adrenaline at? Like, why aren't my nerves berserk, and why isn't shit going off right now?
So, how long would you say it takes to get normalized again after a tour?
It was weird knowing that we were going back out, so you never accepted home base again. I don't know. It was like.
It's a weird adjustment. Yeah, it's a really weird adjustment. It takes me a couple of weeks at least.
We're all like bartenders and servers at home on this side, so when you're kind of your own boss on the road for weeks at a time, you come home and you have someone barking at you to kind of work their way again. It's a little, I don't know, it's a little difficult dealing with authority again.
Actually, do you guys ever find an issue having to take extended time off from side jobs and then trying to get back into it?
On the first couple tours, yeah, we had to either leave jobs entirely, or come back to nothing at all and just kind of start over. So now that we've got a couple more under our belt, our jobs are kind of more lenient since we're becoming more successful at the same time. But yeah, it was a struggle at first.
So we were touring for 3 weeks West Coast, and then we finally made our way back to Chicago and then finally Detroit, and we were like, man, these are the salt of the earth Midwestern kind of people that we assimilate with. And so when we got back in that area, I feel like our game kind of stepped up just because we were back with our people
in general, and just more crowd, just people more into it.
The West Coast types, they're a little bit just I've seen every band that there is.
There's a little bit of that. But I don't know, it's beautiful over there.
Yeah, for sure.
If we played surfy or pop music, I think maybe it would be our thing. When we played in LA, there was a lot of and then we play in Detroit, it's just chaos. Yeah. You know what I mean? I thought the place was going to split in half. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I think there's just that difference because we play very rough and tumble rock and roll music with no bells and whistles, very few effects. We just we get it down there, we throw it down. And I think that's the kind of people that pick that. Those rough and tumble kind of people are the people who kind of pick up on that, and they're okay, man, I can feel this in this music, man. This is I'm not just you know what I mean? It's a little bit more.
It's a little weird on stage when we're not making the crowd, dance and get down. Yeah. And when you see a crowd who is just not, they're they're into it a little bit, but they're not
rude. They're there. They're having a good time, totally. And they clap for you, but it's not that barn burning chaos that we are kind of used to in a way.
Yeah,
you know
sure.
what I'm
Just like,
saying?
did we
So
do
just like,
something
yeah,
wrong,
like
or
damn,
like-
it's like, are we just in a weird city?
And then people
like,
tell us just like, no, that's just how this
yeah, we
city
got
is.
told, no, that's just LA like 15 times. Like, oh, okay, well, all right. I remember we played a Studio 35 gig, and like our family was there, and it was a really personal show. It was like 250 people, like people that we like have known for a really long time. That we like
debuting our album.
Yeah, we're debuting an album. It was like kind of like, so I was like really rather nervous, and then I don't know, like for the Kaleo show. Like, we opened for these Kaleo guys at our hometown. It was like 2,500 people sold out. It was huge show. And I didn't really feel that bad. Like, I didn't feel that much. I was just like, we're in our hometown. Like, I don't know any of these people. I don't know. It's weird how that, because you'd think the bigger the venue, the more nervous. And sometimes they're just so big, you're just like, well, fuck.
With our last tour, the longer we played and the more cities we visited, by the end of the tour, those are the cities I felt most comfortable in. The first couple, you kind of have to shake off the rust and the nerves, but by the end of 8 weeks, it's just another day at the office.
So actually, regarding your tour with Catfish and the Bottlemen, you did mention earlier that this is your 4th time. So how does that relationship start, and how does it evolved over time?
They came to our hometown in Columbus, and they were playing one of our like a venue that our manager has a big hand in. They needed some support, so we got approved to open that show, and then based on the merit of that show, that night they asked us if we could tour with them. They were like, can you quit your jobs or whatever and just come out and tour with us? And that was like that was like that mini, like it was like a St. Louis, Minneapolis, Milwaukee thing. It was like 3-4 dates, wasn't too big. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. So did that, and I guess that we passed the test or whatever it may be. They liked us, they liked what we were doing. They find us easy to tour with and get the crowd going. So they asked us to do their major tour that was like all the House of Blues, like Terminal 5 in Manhattan. That was the big one, like the Fillmore in San Fran where it started. Like that was the big one, and so that was like, I think where we really learned how to travel. It was like 15,000 miles in just that tour, man.
Dude, that tour just like cracked open a world that we just had no idea like
For a time we were like, damn, like maybe we can actually like make money doing this, like be successful doing this, like maybe we can actually get used to this and like live life on the road. And
we'd played a couple of shows, a handful of shows to like big audiences before, but we've never done it back to back every night. You're traveling, you're showing up, you're getting ready to play to a big crowd, and that's just, it's a different lifestyle. And that was the past, so we're like just super thankful for Catfish for bringing us along for that. I mean, that got us really calloused for hopefully what's ahead.
Beginnings of our career, and just like giving us the chance to get out in front of thousands of people that we would never have been able to get out in front of, and like otherwise.
A lot of the new album was, that tour was a catalyst for the writing for a lot of this new album. So we have to thank them for that too. They basically helped us write an album.
The Catfish guys, they have like followers. These are girls that'll just go to every city, and so you see these familiar faces in the front row. And eventually they start singing your hooks, and they start singing, like, If I Stay Awake, they'll just start singing it, like, because they know, they've seen it for 10 times now, you know what I mean? Because they go to these shows, and you're opening every day, so you see the same girls there, and or this doesn't have to be girls, it's just predominantly female crowd. But it is pretty interesting. I noticed at our Studio 35 gig, like when we did back home, when we were doing our album, we did an old song off of we did Monica. Remember, we did like an old tune, and the crowd just like everybody was singing it. Yeah. Everybody was singing it, and that's awesome.
Can we go into some detail about the new album? Some achievements you're proud of?
It's already in the very small like a week and a half that it's officially been out. We've already had multiple people hit us up. As far as like agents, I think the radio stations that are getting it on rotation and cities that aren't ours, that kind of thing. This is already kind of happening. It's kind of just the beginnings of, you see your Spotify plays go, I mean, you see all your new songs go into your popular file on Spotify, so people like pull up your band page and like all your new ones are in there because that's what's hot right now. And so it's cool to see, man. It's only a week in, and like we actually, since we've been so busy getting it on tour, we dropped the album and then had to go get tour. So now we're gonna just like start pushing this album hard and just getting it out there, sending it to radio stations, seeing what people see, what singles come out of the woodwork, see what people are digging, and just like go from there, man. Get ready to write another album.
Now, actually, listening back to it, it does sound like it has a little bit more of like an edgy, in-your-face rock sound than the last album. Would that be about an accurate observation?
Second Son is like 2015. We're going through like, trying to find what we wanted to do. I play piano as well. I'm more of a piano player, so I did a lot of piano. There's flutes, violins. We hired all these musicians. And it was good. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really proud of that album. But, like, it's time to have something that represents our live show and something that represents our rocking and rolling nature, something that we can sell, something that we can tour, something that people will really enjoy, hooky, catchy songs, man. People with the short attention spans, that kind of stuff, playing to that kind of crowd. Just like, hey, here we are. Like, boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean?
We really discovered that the three of us have insane chemistry. We always have. And, with that album Second Son, there were a lot of layers that we just couldn't replicate live. And before our new album Clementine, as we're on tour with Catfish and the Bottlemen, we're selling our CDs, and it's hard to exactly be like, what you saw on stage is only slightly reflected in our albums that we had at this point in time. So this year was just really dedicated to writing songs that the three of us can do live. They're going to be hooky songs that people can dance to, that are radio friendly. Just basically trying to rediscover the chemistry that the three of us have and duplicate that live.
There's bands that are live bands, and there's bands that are studio bands, and there's bands that shine here and shine there, and there's bands that I would love to see live that I probably wouldn't listen to in my car.
Sure.
And the other way around, you know what I mean? And I think that we are finding more so that we are a live band, and the name of the game now is to write an album that can keep up with that. Because our live show has gotten all of our success. Catfish they didn't even listen to any of our songs. They just saw our live show and they're like, hey, come on, let's go, let's do it. And so we've hinged almost all of our success on that. And you can get pretty far that way, but then at a certain point, you need recorded material that reflects you and what you are, and you need that kind of, you need that resume. You need a resume to send to someone. You need to send it to an agent. They need to do it in 2 minutes. It needs to be short, sweet. Here's our single, here's a video, here's who we are, what we stand for, you know what I mean? And that's the business part of it, and since we want to be a successful band, you have to also appreciate the business of everything as well, because it's a very real part of this, what we're doing, you know what I mean? There's money to be made, there's money to be spent, and reconciling that with doing what you love is the name of the game. So
that's kind of medium between the business and the fun aspect of it that you got to balance.
Sometimes it's like I'd rather not be fucking sitting in Clifton Park, New York, just farting around in the rain, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like something, you know what I mean? I'd rather...
This is the life that we chose, man.
This is exactly right. Yeah. This is what we chose. This is what we signed up for, and you got to embrace it and love it.
So you kind of view the album or the recorded material as advertisement for the live shows?
Absolutely. I think it's a great way to put it. Yeah. That's exactly what I want. I want people to hear, and I've already had people tell me this, and I love it, that they hear the album and they can see me, because I'm very animated when I sing my songs on stage. And so, like, when people see that, they listen to multiple people have told me, dude, I can see you singing these songs. When I'm listening to Clementine, I can see your personality. I can see and like, that's something I don't think we've had before, and I think that's awesome for me. That's a really cool part for me, that people can like envision my live show while they're listening to the music. I'm like, the album, I'm like, okay, well, then we're on the right track.
Before we head off, are there any final thoughts you want to add? Anything else you think is important to talk about, promote, that the listeners should know about?
And we're just some dudes from Columbus, Ohio, who are just trying to have some fun. We want everybody to join us, man. We want people to come out and see it. I mean, we put on a fun show.
Well, thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank you, Alex.
You've been tuned in to Recess with Spinelli here on WSPN Hoxton FM, the International Radio Festival, and the New York State Music Blog. And we've been speaking with the psychedelic blues rock trio from Columbus, Ohio, the Warren Flints. Their brand new album, Clementine, is out and available now.